me. I need everyone to join in on this conversation because I think it's something we need to talk about, right? Devin and I were talking about high school, and if I had the power to change the curriculum, would I? And I said to myself, absolutely, absolutely. And then we sat there and we spoke about it, and I said to myself, this is a good video idea. So there are certain things in high school I think we can let go. First off, and I'm embarrassed to do this now, but I never congratulated all of my graduates of 2024. Congratulations. I know some people are thinking about or about to go back to school or about to go off to college. I think in the South that you guys are going back to school soon. Here in New York, the kids do not go back to school until after Labor Day. But that being said, there's a question that keeps coming up when we talk about school, and people always ask me, what tips can I give people in school? Can I give people in school? And there's a few. Number one, I think the biggest thing that people need to understand is you need to understand how you learn, not how your friend learns, not how your parents learn, but how you learn. What do I mean? Well, there are some people who are just flat out readers. All they have to do is read. And then there are people who have to write out things because the more they write it out, the more it sinks in. And there are some people who just have to listen. And then, you have to understand what type of student you are. And sometimes you need to do more than one. So one of my biggest tips I can give people is figure out what type of learner you are. For me, it does nothing for me to just listen to you talk. It does nothing, absolutely nothing for me. I have to read the chapter myself. And I am a writer. I live by flashcards, index cards, whatever. I am that girl. Like I would be that girl in medical school online. I could be driving, at a stoplight. Like I am a index card girl. Even when you're on the shitter, just take 5 cards. Like I am that person. I like to sit out index cards and write things and vocabulary and stuff. And let's just say you have 200 cards. Well, here's the thing. You split up them cards to about how many days you need studied for the test, and that's how many cards you do a day. Like, I know you're probably saying it's that simple. It actually is that simple. It is. Let's just say you have to do like 10 index cards a day. You do the 10 a day, and then tomorrow you should be doing 20. Like, you keep adding it into your pile, Also, too, one of my biggest tricks, and no one seems to get it, but then when they try it, they're like, girl, read before you go to bed. I didn't say read right before a test. I didn't say read in the morning. I said read before you go to bed. Your brain soaks up so much more. It's like you go to bed with that subject on your mind, and you will be surprised on the amount of stuff that you'll be able to spit back in the morning. I promise you, read before bed. Now, I would say, you should read every day before bed, but not everyone's going to do that, girls, my high school people, elementary school, high school, if everyone just does their homework, you'll be surprised how much you soak in, right? Because like, if you haven't caught on by now, like, majority of your homework will be your test. Let me say it again. The majority of your homework will be your test, and homework is agreed. Matter of fact, homework, I don't know about your state, but out here, homework is worth at least 70% of your grade. 70. So even if you fail everything and you hand in your homework, you still have a C average. Do you see where I'm going with this? And if you do homework, again, it'll just soak in. It'll just soak in. I promise you, it'll soak in. I used to do my homework before bed. Again, remember, reading before bed, it soaks in. Just anything you do before bed, it just helps you in the long run. It does. You also have to understand, are you the type of person that can work under pressure? Now, depending on what it was, I do my best work under pressure. I write my best papers under pressure. See, in medical school, there was times I had to do like a 25-page paper in like 8 hours, right? Again, I work best under pressure. I do. But then, that being said, like, when you get let's say a report or something in school, right? The one thing I would do, would I do the report right away? Nope. But I guarantee you, the day I get that topic or whatever, I'm going home and I'm looking it up right away, because if I have any questions or it's too hard, at least you have the next day to tell the teacher, blah, 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 and you still have a whole time or figure out a way, that you can be guided, right? But if you wait to the last minute and you don't get it, and then you realize you don't understand the assignment, then what's gonna happen? So I always go home, and let's just say you're doing a paper on ASMR, right? I would go home and see how much information. Is it too hard? Do I have more than enough information? Am I doing my paper right away? No, but in my mind, I did kind of start it, because I did kind of glance. And then the weekend, the first weekend after I get any assignment, right, I always do a rough draft. I do. I don't care if I'm just copying and pasting. I don't care if I'm copying and pasting Google, Wikipedia. I don't care. I'm just getting all the information on my paper first. And then when you reread that stuff, I know, like, you can't copy word for word, but when you like copy and paste stuff and then you reread it as one, you will find yourself saying, I don't even like how that sounds. I don't even talk like that. And then you'll say to yourself, why is this being repeated 3 or 4 times? You will find you will find yourself starting to, now it's just not copy and paste. Now it's like you're rearranging stuff. You're rearranging your words, your sentences, you're deleting things. Then you realize that things, I don't want to talk about that. And the paper then becomes yours. But by doing this, you are reading that paper over and over and over again. So by now, you should know your topic, right? These are just tips. I'm not saying it works for everyone, because there are people out there who go to Google and copy and paste and just leave it like that. That's not what I'm telling you to do. Matter of fact, you're not even allowed to do that. Plagiarism. But yeah, I never really wait to the last minute to do everything. I'm not. So that's just basically, my tricks. I'm also very big into like making the test work for me. For instance, like if you have vocabulary words, right? As long as you know why you yourself. How someone else might remember it, you might not, and they might have more connection to that word, but you don't. Find what works for you. I'm telling you, it's the stupidest thing. Like, Devin will look at a word and be like, that word looks like wrestling sucks, I don't know, and then for some reason he'll just remember it, right? Be creative. Get things to incorporate into your life so you can understand it more. Things like anatomy. My medical teacher used to like explain certain situations, but use real life situations that we can all understand. Things like that, you know. So anyway, those are just my little tips, you know. But yeah, Devin and I were saying, what could we eliminate? Because here's the thing. There's one thing high school is missing, and that is a life course. We're missing a life course. There's so many things. Let's just talk about it, right? Devin and I were saying, would we keep science? And let me know down below how you feel about this. Devin and I were talking, would we keep science? Basic science. I would do basic science, like for instance, like, you know, how oxygen work, how the trees work, like basic science stuff, right? Basic stuff, like why we need bees and this and that, and why certain things are important, that we just can be out here like killing certain things, and you know, stuff like that, the environment. So yeah, I would keep science, right? But honestly, would I sit there and have people dissect stuff? No. For what? Unless you're gonna be a pediatrician. I'm sorry. A vet. Why am I doing surgery on, like, cause see, back in my day, I had to dissect a frog, a worm, a baby pig, and I also had to do a kitten, which I actually took the 0 for the pig and the fucking kitten. I don't think they even do that anymore. But baby, I wasn't with it. I don't care. You can't make me. No. But like stuff like that, like biology and stuff like that, like why am I mixing chemicals for what? Am I gonna be a chemist? Am I gonna be like, you know what I mean? So for me, right, we're out here showing people how to mix stuff, and then they end up going into their mama's basement trying to mix stuff, and then we got a bigger problem, right? It's not necessary for me that I learn how to mix potions, and did I say potions? Y'all get it. I can't. Like physics and stuff like that. Why? Unless you're gonna be like an engineer and all that other nonsense. I don't understand why physics is necessary. Cause like, depending on what you want to do in life, you know, you're always gonna have to take better courses, right? Like, I went to school for ultrasound, right? So yeah, I had to take medical classes in college because I'm going into the medical field. So I don't get why some of these subjects we need like all 4 years of, right? I don't get it. So I would do, like, again, basic science. We would need to know history. Absolutely. History has to stay. It has to stay. But I am a little irritated on why, like, we know more about the Holocaust than we know about slavery, right? It's stuff like that. Like, there's so many black inventors out there that we know nothing about, but yet, you know, we know that Hitler liked fucking cats. Why do we know that? It's things like that. And then of course, you know, Black History Month is the shortest month of the year. It's not fair. I think it should be equal, right? racism. I don't know, because even like in history, we're not even worth talking about. Damn, you know. So history I would keep, but again, we're gonna talk about the black community like shit. So yeah, history, English, you know, we have to keep. You have to learn how to read and write, right? So I would keep English. Now, language I would keep. I think it's important. I think it's a good idea that kids just know 2 languages, right? I think there's nothing wrong with that. There's been many a times that I wish I spoke another damn language fluently. Many times. Many times I wish I did. But I don't know if I would enforce it for all 4 years though, because here's the thing. I think we should introduce stuff like sign language. I think it's really cool for everyone to learn basic sign language. There are people in this world that can't hear or that are deaf, you know what I mean? So why would it be such a bad thing to introduce kids to like a little bit of everything, right? I'm not saying you should be able to recite the Bible in sign language, right? But just to carry a basic conversation, like, are you okay? My name is so-and-so. Can I help you? Like little basic stuff. So sign language, I think, would be a good idea. So I don't know if I would keep language all 4 years, but it's not a bad idea, right? So again, I'm still stuck with like the basic science. I don't know about, like, I get biology and like, again, chemistry. It's just, I get it, but if you're not going into that field as an adult, tell me where chemistry has helped me in my life. I'll wait. When has it helped me in life? Like, when has me dissecting a worm? Where has that helped me, right? Where? We gotta talk about it. Like math. Math is like, I think, hear me out before you know y'all come after me. I think math is the most worthless subject yet, and let me explain why. I do believe that we all need basic math. Like, we need to know how to count, right? Counting, you know, division, timetables, you know. But do we really need it? No. I mean, it's just a shortcut of getting to the answer, right? If you think about it. But you can sit there and count something individually up until, you know, it's easier to count them in 3s or 5s and 10s, right? But do we need to? No. But I think we have to learn again how to count and like multiplication, division. I also think we have to learn percents. Why? How often have we opened up the paper? How often have we walked into a store and we see 10% off, 35% off, blah 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 off? We see that on the reg, we see that in the paper, we see that on commercials. Like, come into the mattress store for 25% off, right? But many people don't know if something's like $19 and it's 10% off, how much is the shirt. Many people don't know that. And that's everyday life. Is things a deal? Which one makes sense? Like, so basic math, right? But tell me, when have I ever, after high school, read a word problem? When? Tell me when. I'm gonna need to know that. Oh wait, why do I need to know the circumference of pi? Why? 3.14. Why do I need to know that? When has me knowing what pi equals? When has that? Why do I need to know what x equals what for? Or y equals blah? Why? Why do I care? When have I used that? But I've used making sure that I have the right money back, that I got the right change back. You have to know how to count money and change and how much to expect, right? Those are basic things we use all the time. I swear to God, I can't think the last time I shit in college, like everything else. Like whatever specialty or career you go into, you go to college and you learn, right? I didn't learn anatomy in school. I didn't learn about the heart and this and that. I didn't learn about how to tell you if you know your baby's a boy or a girl. You don't learn that in high school. You learn that shit in college. Why? Because that's the field I'm going into, right? But someone who's gonna like go into the military or whatever, you know what I mean? There's just certain things that unless you are, that's your career, you will never, ever use that shit again. And let's be realistic, why do I need to learn how to read Shakespeare? Like, don't get me wrong, like Shakespeare was interesting as fuck. But if you think about it, why do I need to read out thou my heart? Like, why? Why do I need to read that way? It's stupid. I've never had to talk that way before. So why do I have to read Shakespeare? Like, don't get me wrong, some of the books had a hell of a punchline or a good, like, learning or whatever. But I can also find that from books that don't talk like Shakespeare. You know what I mean? I don't know. There's just so many things. Like, okay, language. I've had to use Spanish since high school. Basic math. Although I'm not really sure where you would really use history, but it's good to know because, like, when you're watching like the elections and they're trying to spit facts, at least you're not the idiot not knowing like what's going on, right? But anyway, I think we need more like life courses. Like, there's just so many. Like, for instance, there's many kids out there who don't know how to do laundry. I'm sorry, you don't know how to do what? I wish I learned stocks back when I was in high school. We didn't learn stocks. I think we should have a stock course, like how the stock market works. That's very important. Do you know if children knew how the stock market, even adults, more people have money? But a lot of us don't even get it, don't even know where to begin, right? And then we have the biggest thing that is happening now in society, like the rainbow community. Like, people better start understanding, you know, verbs and nouns and shit. You know, you can't be out here calling people things that they don't want to be called. You have to understand. Like, they're even like, you know, with the rainbow community, sometimes I'd be like, what does like pansexual mean, right? There are times I have to go back and I have to say, oh, okay, I got it, right? But I don't know all, right? And I'm a type of person that I don't want to offend anyone, but if we generally don't know, because I'm not part of the rainbow community, I love the rainbow community, but I'm not part, and because I'm not part, it might come off on certain topics that might be ignorant, but it's not even ignorant, it's just, I just don't know, right? So, you know, people have to learn like their pronouns, nouns, verbs, whatever. It's just people have to be respected. People have to understand. Oh, lastly, and I'm surprised, this should have been first on my list. My young people, my citizens. If there's anything I have taken away from 2024 so far, it's that we need to do better. And what I mean by that is, as citizens, we have to know and understand our rights. Like, again, we need a life course in high school. The First Amendment and the Fourth Amendment are the two amendments that police, the ones that's supposed to be protecting us. The First and Fourth Amendment are the ones that are most violated. Cops violate our First and Fourth Amendment so bad. But we don't know no better. We don't know any better. I was asking Devin questions like, you know, if a cop asks you for identification, do you always have to give it to them? He's like, yeah. The answer is no. The answer can do TikTok challenges, but you guys don't even know where you're allowed to record. If you're allowed to record in public, can someone say, oh, well, you can't record me, it's against the law? No, the fuck it's not. If you're on a public street where, no, it's not. You have no privacy in public. Now, I can't record in your home, but I definitely can record you on a public side street. I definitely can. Absolutely. Did you know in some states that you do not have to roll down your window? Only a little bit, just so like your license can fit, but many people don't know that. Many people don't know that there's certain situations that a cop cannot tell you to get out the vehicle. There's certain times that you do not. The point is that we do not know our rights, and that's something we need to. The First Amendment and the Fourth, and many of you right now are sitting there Googling, especially what the Fourth is. But these are things we have to know. I have been on YouTube. Nothing like there's these people, they're called audits, and there are people who go out there and they'll test to see if law enforcement understands the Fourth Amendment or the First Amendment. Like they will purposely do something so a cop can pull them over to see how a cop handles situations. And it's sad because we have been violated so much, we don't even know. And then Devin was like, well, what's the big idea if a cop asks you to get out the car? I sent Devin a video after he said that, and it's funny because the young ones are now getting a little bit more smart, and they are using dash cams. And so this cop pulled his car over and told the young man to get out the car. He had no reason to get out the car, but the cop told him to get out the car. Now, when the cop, you see him putting on his gloves to search the car, and as he's doing that, he actually threw something in the back of the car. The dash cam picked it up that an officer actually threw drugs in the back of this gentleman's car. So could you imagine if the guy did not have a dash cam, that it would have been an officer's word against the guy he pulled over? But there was no reason for the guy to get out the car in the first place, but it gave that cop an opportunity to plan something so he can get a raise. We have to do better. We have to do better, right? There's just so many things we just have to learn. I think cooking's important. Learning how to